This is the type of game where you find out why Mill is absolutely insane. If decks want to play to a lower CMC, we got Tasha's to eat and we are coming to feast. Let's get it. In this game, we start things off on the draw, and I see the makings of a potential affinity deck going on here. So I start off with the Hedron Crab, hoping to maybe draw a piece of removal, but then see that I'm going to get aggressive. But instead, I see a Stoneforge Mystic come down, and along with that, a Sigarda's Aid revealing a Shadow Spear. So, okay, I'm against Hammer. I do have the Tasha's in hand, so it looks like this is going to be a really aggressive game. So what I opt to do instead of playing the Ruin Crab is I play the Drowning Loch on the Stoneforge Mystic, making sure something massive like a massive artifact with living weapon doesn't come down, and thankfully enough they don't have any threats, so I continue to play my crab, continue to fetch out aggressively, hold out my drown for the counter spell. Now as the Urza Saga disappears, they get a Ginger Brute. I notice the Inkmoth Nexus is there, so I make them tap out everything, and I realize, okay, I have to counter this Pure Steel Paladin, or that Colossus Hammer is going to be equipping for free, but I do have to keep my eye open for that Inkmoth Nexus. So I play, I fetch, I grab my land, and what I'm looking at is also the Ginger Brute that can be unblockable. So I think let's Tasha, see if we get the win. We got 18 cards left and we get there. Starting off with game 2, I'm back on the draw, and obviously Tasha's is going to be the big piece here in terms of sideboarding. Didn't bring in the kind of removal aspect of things, but I decided to go with Extirpate. I also brought in Soul Guide Lantern, thinking about the potential Shuffle Titan, but you know, we start off with a good Hedron Crab draw and double Tasha, so I thought, why not? I gotta keep this with the Extirpate if I can grab the Colossus Hammer. So I bring that down, start fetching. I mean, I draw the Fatal Push and the hand is looking good. The problem is I'm not finding Colossus Hammer, and with the Sigarda's Aid out, I see the Inkmoth Nexus, so I don't want to get too aggressive. I know this deck is playing Spell Pierce as well based on the graveyard from the previous game, so I have to keep my Fatal Push up, and I'm thinking let's cycle this away from the Fractured Sanity to get another land, which I do. So play out the land, fetch, shock, everything, and kind of do everything beautiful there just to not find the Colossus Hammer. So thankfully at this point I have Drown in the Loch and I have Fatal Push up, so I kind of have the double removal thing going on. But with all that kind of staying back, I realized, hey, they have to have the Spell Pierce, which they do. They have the Colossus Hammer in hand, and I'm gonna have Drown in the Loch. So this is a pretty good situation. I have all the interaction in the world. Go to end step, kill the Ornithopter, make sure I have the cheaper form of interaction because I want to Tasha's and Fatal Push here, and that's exactly what I do. Fetch, shock, cast the Tasha's, and well, let's see where we end up with 5 cards left in their library. And at this point, I'm laughing all the way to the bank. That Sigarda's Aid is not going to do anything. That Inkmoth Nexus, even if they attack with it, they have to double activate to get the flying Plasma Hedron Crab. That Giver of Room is kind of problematic if I didn't have the Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So at this point, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to Fatal Push the Inkmoth Nexus. I could have waited. It's technically better to do that. They get it on the Giver Room, but it's fine. I'm going to win on the kickback anyway. It's not a problem. We are here to seal things off. But in this case, one thing I want to point out is you actually want to Tasha's, because in the sense where if I didn't see their deck and I didn't actually know what the last 3 cards were, in case that I find a Shuffle Titan, I want to make sure I am exiling. So although I know the rest of their deck, I want to make sure I am still following the proper order and the proper sequencing of things. Thank you for the games, and GG.